Agriculture is a dangerous industry, but one threat that faces farms, both big and small, is the threat of fire. October 4th through the 10th is National Fire Prevention Week, so Max talked with Nick Dinges about just what that means in rural America.
The observance is always the beginning of October, Mike, for Fire Prevention Week, and I just thought it was a great time to touch base regarding our volunteers in the countryside and how important it is that we continue to support our rural volunteer fire departments. A friend of ours, Nick Dinges, works with many of those people across the heart of the country, big cities and small communities too. Dinges Fire Company. Nick, you're a volunteer yourself, following in the footsteps of your dad and your grandfather, correct?
That's correct, Max. Both my grandfather were on the Sublette Fire Protection District, and my father was the assistant chief, and actually still today at age 85 is currently a trustee, but he served as the assistant here for, 40 plus years. So I'm blessed to be the new assistant chief in Sublette.
Well, congratulations. When everybody pulls together to make it happen, it's so crucial, and we see it every day all across the country. Volunteers well trained. Most of our firefighters in the country are, in fact, volunteers, aren't they?
Yeah, that's correct. You know, even to this day, we see about between 70 and 80% of the nation's fire service is still volunteer, and that's still incredible. Everybody still believes in helping out their hometowns. And, you know, there's no greater good than helping man. And we're, I think, the embodiment of that here in Sublette with our volunteer fire and EMS staff.
You know, many communities struggle to have enough people there. I know some towns empty out in the daytime to some extent because of work in nearby cities. So you'll have maybe somebody at the elevator or the fertilizer plant. The crews get a little bit lean in the daytime sometimes, don't they?
That's 100% fact. We're very blessed. We have a large Chevrolet dealership here in town, and the folks from Voss and Brothers have been hugely supportive of not just our community, but our fire department. Matter of fact, Neil Voss was on for 45 years. But if we get a fire EMS call during the day, they literally empty out their shop. And we're also very lucky to have a number of farmers that come in and both help on the fire and EMS side. So occasionally we might be thin on the initial truck out the door. However, we know all the reinforcements are coming within that first 5 to 6 minutes of the call.
The training regimen is difficult. It's a little more challenging than it used to be, and there's good reason for it, because when you respond, it's almost second nature. When you're trying to help someone out of an automobile or a farm accident, or they've got a fire going in the barn there. But it is a load. It does require time, doesn't it?
It does, you know, and especially on the EMS side, and we're also seeing the continuing ed happening on the fire side. We, as basic EMTs and also as paramedics, have to put in around 100 hours every 4 years. And that's just the basic level, in addition to all the other training that we do. So it's difficult for these people to peel off and put at least 25 hours of training annually just to keep up an EMS certification. And now we're seeing that on the fire side, where we have to have continuing ed as well, just to meet those basic levels of certification. Most of the people volunteer for that sense of community, where they can come out and know that they're helping other members of the community, you know, their neighbors, their family, their friends, and then to see that gratification come when you're able to help somebody, you know, in typically their worst day or worst moment, is reason enough that we keep our roster full.
You're making a difference in people's lives. That's a wonderful thing to say at the end of the day. Nick, thanks for spending a little time with us here.
Yeah, thank you, Max. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Nick Dinges. His company is Dinges Fire Company. They serve fire departments, big and small, across the heartland of the country.